As you guys know what it is, my name is Gil and I'm the American Cholo. And this American Cholo podcast today, I have a pretty special one for you. He's a man, he's a Raza guy, he's an entrepreneur. He was actually featured on the show Shark Tank, came up with his own healthy snack. Let me get him on here real quick. Dr. Juan Salinas, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Gil? Thank you for the invite.
Oh man, thank you
for being here.
So let's just jump right into this, Doctor. Can I call you Doctor?
Yes, sir.
There you go. So where were you born and raised, my man?
I was born in Tegucigalpa, capital of Honduras. Born and raised there. And I came to the United States when I was 17.
Oh. Now, how was your upbringing in Honduras?
So, I would say probably a middle-class family. I had a dad, my dad, I still have my dad, who is an engineer, and, he worked for the government and then started his own company, but also had my mom that it was a stay-home mom with 4 kids. I have 2 brothers and a sister. Just probably like many other families in Honduras, we struggle financially a lot because having 4 kids, under one salary, it's not easy.
Right.
But
how was school for you over there? Is it like a school out here? Same kind of thing, like 1 grade to 6th grade, junior high, and high school?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah. I think I'm not exactly sure when kids graduate here out of high school. I graduated when I was 16 years old, which I think was probably 1 year earlier than most kids graduate here.
Yeah, 1 or 2 years. I think over there, up to the 12th grade is what it is.
Yeah, at the time there was no summer school. There was no summer break for us. It was basically we just went. Yeah, we just went. So we probably went ahead 1 year than what it is here in the United States, maybe because of that reason.
Now, were you at that time in the school? Were you also learning English, or did you learn English when you came over to the States?
Yeah, man. When I landed in the United States, I knew how to say, "Where's the bathroom? Dog, cat."
What were the events that actually led you to come over to this country?
So, my dad made a promise to all of the kids, and he said that he wanted us to have the best education that he could afford. And he said, look, I will do anything possible in his means to send each one of you to United States to go to college there, and he stuck to that promise, and he did what he had to do to send us here.
Wow, that's beautiful. So then when do you find out, okay, Juan, ya vas para los Estados Unidos?
Yeah, I mean, I had an older brother, a year older than I am, and he had come to the United States before me. Okay. So I started, he kind of painted it a little bit the way for me, made it a little easier. So when I came to the US, he was already here, and he was kind of my support, and kind of showed me the ropes a little bit.
Nice. Now how long was he here before you?
About 1.5 years.
Okay. Yeah. So now you and your brother over here, I heard somewhere when you first came out here, you didn't really quite like it.
No, I mean, I had never really been to the United States, and my expectations was to see, what you see on TV over there, Disney World, and the beautiful landscapes of Colorado, and the parties in Miami and all that stuff, and
all the glitz and glamour.
I landed in Newark Airport, and that was exactly what I had pictured United States to be like. But and it was winter time, so Oh yeah. Remind you, we don't have snow or that kind of weather over there. I didn't even own a jacket, so it was kind of a little bit of a shock, to say the least.
When I first came, somos paisanos. That's why we look so much alike, right? when I first came from Honduras, I actually got scared. When you blow the white smoke out.
Yeah.
when it's real cold and you kind of blow that air out, that's what happened to me, because it is. People don't understand that over there it's tropical and you get no snow at all, right?
No snow, right? So it was kind of weird, because actually when I landed, it started to snow. So it was kind of cool to see the snow, but man, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to be out there, and I didn't have a jacket. So it was kind of like, all right, this is nice, but I got to go inside. It's too cold out here.
So once you land over here, you come to the States, what's your next move? Or were you coming here specifically to go to college?
Yeah. So I, had enrolled on. It was a program to learn English over at Rutgers University.
Okay.
And so I knew I was gonna go there. I started searching for a place to sleep in. I got hooked up with one of the professor's friends, which lived on campus. So I had a little room there, and that was the start. Then we started taking classes, and that was my first exposure to some sort of an English system. So it's kind of a little bit intimidating. It's funny because when I think back, no one spoke Spanish. None of the teachers actually spoke Spanish to me, so they weren't really translating what they were trying to teach me. But somehow, I don't know if it was through like hand movements or whatever, I sort of started to understand what they were trying to say.
Okay.
Which is kind of a weird thing now when I think back. It's like, how do I, went to school and that, like, hearing.
How did you communicate?
I had no idea what they're talking about. Like, I didn't know anything. So
now, Rutgers University, what kind of school is that?
Rutgers State University, New Jersey.
It's a business school, right?
No, it's just regular college. It's a state college, state university. Yeah.
So now are you staying on campus, or are you guys staying close to the campus?
So I was at Inc. on campus. I was staying with someone that that had a little room for rent, and that person lived right there, very close to where my classes were.
And at this time, are you working while you're going to school?
No, I wasn't working. I was on a very tight budget. So I was, doing little things on the side just to try to get, a little more money for food and things like that. Like I started working for Krausers, I just, after like 6 months of being there, I had a friend that knew the manager, and he was like, listen, you can work under the table, and,
right.
You can, if all you had to do is, make sandwiches, basically. That's what I was doing. So that was kind of my first job. And,
right. So how long were you in school for?
So I was in that.
What year was these?
Oof, man, 85.
Oh,
85, 86, yeah.
Wow, all right.
So I was there for about, in the English program, I think I spent maybe 5 months, 4 to 5 months. That was kind of like the timeline that my family gave me too. It's like, listen, we can only afford 6 months, 5 months. Like, if you don't know English, man, you're coming back, It's like, so there was it was very wise, it was time. So that when I was done with that, was the starting of the college semester. So, I went to a community college right after that. I had to take a test for English proficiency, and I passed it. And, I was able to enroll at a college. It was called Middlesex County College. Yeah.
And when did you actually start coming up with the idea of your snack?
Well, if you want to fast forward, probably about 25 years or more, 20 years. I started. I graduated from Rutgers University as a food scientist, and I have I got a doctorate in it. So immediately my family thought that I was going back to Honduras, but I figured, hey, I got this degree, and I kind of want to experience what it's like to work for one of the companies here in the U.S. So I went out to try to find a job right while I was still in college, and I basically landed a job over at Nabisco, and they liked what I had been doing. I had been working with one of the professors in some research, and they liked the stuff that I was doing, and they figure, hey, let's bring him in, and if he's good, we'll sponsor him for a green card. And that's what they did. They sponsored me for a green card. Yeah.
At this time, you're here with a visa for school, huh?
Yeah, I just had a student visa, and as once once you are out of school, once you finish, your student visa finish, and therefore you become illegal here. You got to go home. So that's why I had to find a job before I graduated, in a way.
Right.
So that, there was no gap in between.
So they could sponsor you.
So they could sponsor me, correct.
Now, what exactly Now you say nutrition scientist.
A food scientist.
Now, what exactly does a food scientist do?
So we're the ones that create the products that you see on the shelves of supermarkets. That's probably the easiest way to explain it.
No,
So,
you guys, how do you do it?
Well, we basically want to make food so that is available all year round. That's
Right.
basically the job of a food scientist. So, all these processes like canning, beans in a can to preserve it, or using different packagings and things like that, where you can eat a mango any day of the year. There's always a food scientist behind all that. Making sure that we know how to preserve products so that they're safe to eat, and we come up with some creative, fun products too.
Now, are you guys also coming up with products that people want to eat, regardless if they're healthy or not?
You mean our company?
No, just most food scientists, I say.
Yeah, well, the job of food scientists is to innovate, to create products that are safe to eat. Whether they're healthy or not, that depends on the company that is behind them.
Right.
There's some companies that don't care if the products are healthy or not.
Now, would you say most companies don't care?
I wouldn't say they don't care. I would say that there's a lot of types of customers out there, and there's a large volume of customers in the United States that like to indulge in food.
Yes.
And most of those foods that are indulgent are probably not very healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
So how long did you do that for?
Over 20 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So you were there for that many years. Is there any products that you guys were making that we would hear about, or that you can talk about, or do they make it sound like a disclosure letter?
No. I work for 4 different big companies. Nabisco. I work for every brand that you can imagine, like Oreos, Ritz, Chips Ahoy, Triscuits. Then I moved on and I started working for a company called Cadbury, and there, it's the same company that makes the Cadbury X.
Yeah.
But they have a division that makes chewing gum. So Dentyne, Trident, those are all brands from Cadbury. So I got to work with some new, pretty cool products in the gum side. I don't know if you ever had Splash, Trident Splash. It's got a little liquid in the middle.
Sure, when it comes on,
Yeah, well, there you go. That was one of my products.
You're that guy.
That was it. I worked in that. We started the whole thing.
How do you guys come up with those ideas? You guys sit at a table and just throwing ideas off each other, or how does that process go?
Oh, it's funny, man. Inspiration can come from so many different ways. Sometimes you might have a guest expert on something, and he's coming to talk about certain technology or ingredient, and that might spark some ideas. Hey, what if we put this here? Or we also have brainstorming sessions, they call them. Where you get together with a group of people from the team, and you start to just throwing ideas, whatever. Like there's the rule is that there's no bad ideas, so you start putting like crazy ideas on the board.
Right.
And then from that you start to get inspirations out how to make something real out of those.
Now, is there any time you guys caught yourself like, man, we should have came up with that idea?
Yeah. Oh man, how many times has that ever happened?
Something that's so easy when you're like, man, when did we? Yeah. How about what did you think when you first heard of Hot Cheetos?
Hot Cheetos. I mean, I'm not a fan of Cheetos, to be honest with you. I try to eat mostly healthy foods.
No, you try the Hot Cheetos with pretty much just like the Mexican style with a little hot sauce in there. All of a sudden, it's a big craze. It's not healthy for you. I don't eat them by any means. My kids eat them. That's about it.
No, man. I mean, it's crazy because like Hot Cheetos or like the Takis. You probably try those. They're like so strong. Like the flavors are so strong that I would have thought that it would be too strong, for a kid to eat.
Yeah.
But Man, was I wrong?
It's funny because sometimes like my wife will try to eat some and they're too hot for her, but the
Yeah.
grandkids will eat them like nothing.
Right.
I don't know. They're liking the hot food, man.
And,
So what was the biggest learning lesson that you learned working for some of these big, huge companies that you can take away that helped you out and may help other people that are going into that industry?
yeah, I mean, look, I can't, I always appreciate all what I've learned from these companies. One of the things that large corporations do for you in your career is that they have the resources to basically continue your education in a way. Okay. So they have the best of the best, in terms of the technologies, in terms of your peers, who you're learning from all the time. So, I was working with the state-of-the-art ovens and state-of-the-art machinery, and working with scientists that were like experts in different areas. And that kind of exposure you don't get from any other companies, except a lot of companies that have, the money to be able to afford them. Yeah.
Right. So after working with all these companies, now let's get to where did Pinoff idea come from? Or did you already have that from the beginning when you first started, or did that just come out of years of working when you were at?
No, it's funny. Pinoff I actually had another idea. So my last job was at Nestle. I was working for Power Bar. I don't know if you remember Power Bar, but
they do.
Yeah. So they're no longer in existence really, but I was working on developing new products for athletes, right? And I had learned a lot about some of the nutritional requirements for athletes, and I have been working a lot of projects for them, like specifically for that audience. And it just came to me that there's a lot of people just like you and I that maybe go out for a walk or want to be active at the gym maybe for an hour or two, but we're not professional athletes, and there really wasn't any type of snack out there that was specifically for us. It was either something was really indulgent and bad for you, or something that was made specifically for an athlete. And one of the crazy examples is like Gatorade. Gatorade was made for an athlete, but the regular person consumes it, and it's still okay because there's not a lot of bad nutrition in it except for like the sugar, and now they have the sugar-free versions. But in terms of snacks, there wasn't anything out there. Maybe pretzels was the only thing that I was eating that was like, I was thinking this is not going to harm me too much.
Right.
So that's how the idea came about. But I started with something different. I started with it was almost like a gel in a pouch, like a gelatin in a pouch.
All right.
And I started with that idea, and then I started like giving it to some friends and stuff. I'm like, I don't know, it's a little weird, So I was like, man, it's like I know what I want in the snack. What other formats can I use? Different formats that was a little more fun, a little more tasty, and things like that.
Right.
So I went to a trade show, and I met this lady that represented a company that made peanuts, and they had a product that they showed me that was some sort of a puff, and it tasted like peanuts, and that's how we all started. I was like, oh man, this could be a really cool product, So I started to, basically use my knowledge in food science to try to put some sort of a recipe together that will include peanuts, and I added some navy beans and rice and things like that to give it a better nutrition. And that's kind of how everything started, and that's how it went.
Now, when you're saying you're putting this stuff in there, I mean, are you like literally cooking this stuff? Are you getting recipes? How does the process really go?
Yeah, man, that's my thing. That's what I did. That's what I did for 25 years.
Oh, so you guys are actually getting stuff, measuring it, put it in there, and seeing how it tastes, how it works, and then see what the contents are in there?
That's it, man. We're like we're scientists, but we're sort of like chefs,
Okay.
Yeah, we play around. I mean, everything starts in the kitchen. To be honest with you, a lot of the stuff that I did was in my kitchen, and then obviously there's a lot of, like, for instance, the puff that you see, just like Cheetos, You can't make that in the kitchen. That has to be done with a specific type of equipment. It's called an extruder. Okay. And it's a big machine. So when I felt like I could go, that has certain basics, and I felt like, I think I have a formula that could work in that machine. Right. Then the next step was to go and try it. And I went to a company that makes the machine, and they had a small version of it, like not a industrial size version of it, but a smaller, right, where I could do like quick changes and not spend a lot of money. So I started messing around with that for a whole week, and after that, I basically came out with some sort of a base, and the rest of it, I could do in my kitchen. Like, the flavoring part of it, all that could be done at the kitchen level.
Now, when was the point when you walked away from working for the big corporations and you actually dived headfirst and said, that's it, either I'm going to make it or I'm going to break it with your product?
Yeah. So, so that last job that was at Nestle, I was working for the Power Bar division, and they ended up selling it. So when they sold it, I was basically given the choice to leave. And I was like, all right, what should I do? Like, I started actually interviewing in other companies at the time. But I had that itch, in me. I had that thing. Like I said, no, I want to create my own thing. I want to do my own thing.
That's right.
But you always think, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to do this? But, I don't know. I sat down, I'm Catholic. I went to church. I sat down there, and I was like, all right, God, what do you want me to do? And I thought I heard him say, start your own business. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. And that's exactly how it happened. I had an offer already for another job over at Welch's, this juice company. And then I told them, no, I want to go on my own. And that's how it happened.
Yeah, that's usually the biggest scary thing about a business. I mean, starting your own business, because you're so used to getting that check every week or whatever it is, that salary, and for you to finally have to come up with that money, it gets a little scary. But I'm sure after a little while, you kind of said, "All right, I'm getting the groove of thing." How long and how much money did you have to invest in this thing before you said, "Okay, I might have some"? And was there ever a point where you said, "You know what, I might have to bail out and go back and work for corporate"?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it many times. It's not easy now, but what I did is I said, all right, I put aside a certain amount of money. I think to start a business, at least in the food industry, if you could come up with, let's say 100,000 to 150,000, I think you could start that. You could start a business, and that's what I had. That's kind of where the range of my investment was initially. What I wasn't counting on was that I had to buy equipment eventually to make my own product. And the reason was, normally that's not the way to go. Normally you want to go to a what they call a co-manufacturing, co-packer. Okay. And you pay them to make your product, and you just place the orders and they make their money and you make your money. Okay. But I had a really hard time finding that co-manufacturing because my product has peanuts in it. And peanuts is an allergen, as you know. And what happens is that a lot of these companies make a bunch of other products, a bunch of other brands in the same line. So if I put my product in their line, all of a sudden it will be contaminated with the allergen of peanuts. And, that means that some of their products could get contaminated with it. And then it could be a big problem. So none of the companies wanted to deal with me. They were like, if you take the peanuts out, we'll make whatever you want. But I was like, then what the hell? What am I doing here? So, so I'm like, no, I'm not taking the peanuts out. That's the whole basis of the product.
Right.
So that led me to, it's like, okay, man, I got to a point where it's like, all right, I can't find anybody. My only option here is to buy the equipment and make it myself. And that was basically the first time where I had to go outside and ask for money. In this case, I went to my family, actually. So, my family, my two brothers, to be more specific, they basically invested in the company, and we were able to buy some equipment.
Los hermanos de Honduras were your first two investors.
Sí, los dos hermanos, man.
What did your parents think at this time when you left your thing? Were they supportive? Were they scared? ¿Qué te estaban diciendo?
No, I mean they're always supporting me, and
That's right.
And I always say, man, that without that family support, it's really hard,
Yes,
know, because there's going to be so many downs that you'll be like, okay, I'm done, and if you don't have that support, the people next to you, the people that love you saying, now, come on, man, come on, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Keep going. That support really is what kept me going. So, I'm very grateful for everything that they've done. So,
is that the emails that are coming in with most support on your end?
Sorry, are you hearing that? I don't know how to turn that off.
No worries. So, how much did this whole new manufacturing plant and everything cost you guys? And where is it? Is it based out of the United States, or is it out based?
No, yeah, we have our manufacturing here in New York.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we spent close to $250,000.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of money.
Investment. Yeah.
Okay, so throughout all this time, word on the street is that you're a bodybuilder, you run marathons, you do cycling, you do all kinds. How does a guy that's so busy have time for all this? Because I heard you earlier, you say, you spend 2 hours in the gym. Is like 2 hours in the gym? How do you do all that?
That's all I do, man. I work and I go to the gym.
Is that where that came from?
I don't do anything else. Man, the gym, to be honest, I mean, what happens with the gym for me is almost like it's therapeutical, like I feel like the days that I don't go, I can't sleep well, I keep worrying about things that, start thinking about all the problems and whatever. My gym time is like I forget about all that stuff, and I just focus on myself and the workout, and I come out of it just relax, my hair is clear and I'm able to sleep fine. So I think, I don't know if maybe it's an addiction that I have or whatever, but it definitely helps. It helps me a lot.
What's the longest you've ever ran?
Well, I've done marathons basically. That's
the New York Marathon.
I did the New York 2 times.
Oh, yeah. How does that work mentally, dude? I mean, I can only do like 30 minutes on the elliptical jogging, but how does that work mentally on you?
You know what? It's progressive. Like you start, I always tell people who want to do it that they never even run before. It's like, all right, start with like just doing a mile, and you don't have to run the whole mile. You can walk it and run, walk and run. And then, the next week, try to do 2 miles. The week after that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you keep going like that, progressively. And your body keeps adapting to that new load of work that you put in.
Right.
And, by the time you go to, you're ready to do the marathon, your body is already adapted and ready to go.
Wow. That's amazing, man.
Yeah. It's, I will encourage anybody to do it because it's pretty cool. Like you feel like
you're on top of the world
for it, and then finally you do it. It's almost like it's a little bit of life changing. You feel like, okay, like what training and putting the effort pays off.
That's a perfect lesson. Yeah. So how do you go from all this to becoming a star on Shark Tank? How did the process of you getting on that show even come about?
Yeah, man. I don't know about being a star, but yeah.
I don't know. You rip. Okay, was ripping the shirt off part of the plan, or were you just pumped up at that time?
Nah, I mean that was part of the plan. There was a couple of things that were in part of the plan. That
all right, talk to us.
I mean, the process really is an application process. Just like anything else, you apply for it. We did. To my surprise, actually, was that my application went in like 2 years before they called me. So I had completely forgot even about it, that I had applied. And when I got the call, I always thought it was a little of a prank or something. I was like, wait a minute. Like,
how big was the application?
The application, it's not that bad. I mean, you can find it online. They just ask a few questions, Okay. Anybody could do that. The thing is, the next thing is like you go on and you do a casting,
So they called you. What do they tell you? Hey, you got chosen for a Shark Tank?
No, they just did actually no. They want to know more information about you.
Okay.
And then obviously they want to know if you're still interested. And then after that, they basically send you another questionnaire, which is like very long.
Okay, that's the one.
And that one includes, financial information, story, where you are, what you're doing, blah, 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 and like everything. They want to know everything.
Right.
And so the process after that is like you have to send some videos of yourself, almost like giving a pitch, because they want to see you. They want to see how you behave in front of the camera. Are you personable or not? And then if they like what they see, then they say, hey, we'd like to see if we can work with you to develop a pitch. The pitch is your own. They basically said, look, we don't want to tell you what to say. It's your own, but we'll help you. We'll help you. We know the show, so we can help you a little bit here and there. And then you do the pitch again, and they evaluate you to see if you have good material, and then they ship you out to the destination.
So when you did the pitch, did you do it exactly the way you did it when you came on the show?
Oh no, not at all.
What was the difference?
I didn't like my pitch was like, I didn't know what it was like. I basically created a pitch that I thought was cool, and I was just talking. I think they don't care so much about the content of it. They just want to see how you behave in front of the camera. Like they want to see if you're personable. If
you're comfortable, or you're going to choke up in front of it, right?
Right. Or you're just like stiff and like, okay, hi, it's a show, like
it's a show, baby.
It's entertainment. They want people to be entertaining.
So you're standing there before the doors slide open. They open up, right? Is your heart beating? Are you a little nervous this time? Because on the show, you didn't see any of that. You just saw you coming out. You look very comfortable. But how was it? Talk to me before this.
Oh, it's tough. Like, so, I mean, I got to tell you that this happened during COVID, right? So normally the taping is in LA, but this time was actually in Las Vegas. Okay. So they put us up in a hotel there, and we had to quarantine for like 10 days. And quarantine really meant quarantine. Like we're inside the room, and we could not leave the room. Oh, wow. The food was brought in, like, they'll knock on your door and just pass the tray underneath the door. And you're like, oh, what do we get today? Let's see.
Fancy sell.
It was almost like that, seriously. And funny thing is, like, I had my room, I had a window, obviously, and I faced the pool, I think it was the Bellagio that we're staying. Okay. And I was like, oh, man, I wish I was out of that pool, so close, but you're so far, I can't leave this room. But the process after that, obviously you're building anxiety just from being inside the room. Yeah. But then, finally you're like, okay, today's your day. We're gonna tape today. So they bring you into another big area where they do a little bit of makeup, and they basically put you on weight, because the same day there's other people also pitching before you. So you're waiting your turn. Finally, they said, okay, you guys are going next. And then when it's your turn, you stand behind those doors that you're talking about.
Right.
Now, in the show, it looks like the doors open right away. But in reality, I'm standing behind those doors for about 10 minutes or so.
Oh my God.
And I'm just waiting. It was like, when are these doors going to open? But I guess they're like, they're adjusting their cameras over there. They're getting, Lori's probably having some drinks somewhere. Mark Cuban, whatever they're doing over there in the back. I have no idea, but I'm staying there, and they're like, just stand here. And when the doors open, you go. I'm like, all right, when's these doors going to open, man? So then you hear the voice, that you hear on TV. It's like, all right, we're getting ready. And then I think there's a countdown, maybe 5, from 5 to 1 or whatever. And then the doors open. And then they tell you, look, whatever happens from this point on, it's on. Like there's no stopping the film. There's no second take. It's like, you're on.
This is your shot at glory.
Yeah, this is it. Go. If you like, pass out, you pass out. Like there's nothing we can do about it. So yeah, man. I mean, I was nervous, but walking through the aisle and then just seeing the sharks in front of you, it's like, my heart is pumping. I'm standing in front of them for like another 5 minutes while they're adjusting cameras and stuff. So I'm just smiling at them. I'm like, oh my God, like I just want to get started here, and get done with it. But once you get going, man, I don't know, you start getting a pump, your blood start now flowing, and everything is all right from there.
You start going to your pitch.
Then you start going through the pitch, It's like
now for people who don't know, and we'll put it up when we do the whole thing. I release it out. Yeah, you came out like the Hulk and ripped your shirt off. Now, was that shirt? Was it a special shirt? Did you buy a special shirt at Amazon that will rip off easy, or was that a normal shirt that you ripped off? Honestly,
yeah, so I did a good job then, man, if you're asking that question. Because look, I don't know if you look at it closely. Well, the first one that it wasn't a shirt, it was actually a lab coat. It was a white lab. I came, with some like glasses, and I had like a white lab coat, and I was supposed to rip off the coat. So what I did is that I actually sew in like like the snaps.
Yes.
I actually put snaps in it instead of having like buttons.
Okay.
Because you never know with buttons, it might not open correctly, or one of the buttons might go shooting out and hit Lori in the eye or something. Like, so I put these things, and so it was actually pretty easy to just like rip open. But at the end, then I put a shirt on, like sort of like the one I'm wearing right now, a polo. And then at the end, this I just came up with. I think that was kind of on the spur of the moment.
We're pumped.
I was pumped. I just got the deal. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna rip it. So I go like this, and start ripping it, and it doesn't rip all the way. I'm like got halfway, and there's like, all right, like I'm just gonna leave it as that.
I'm out of here. So once you get your first offer, I think Mark gave you an offer. How do you hold your demeanor? It's like playing poker with these guys, right?
Yeah, no, it's kind of tough because so I got another. They don't show you on the TV that you didn't make that part of it, but Mr. Wonderful actually made an offer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mr. Wonderful made an offer, but it was almost like a joke offer, right. Because Mark had already given me an offer,
Yes,
and I didn't take it. So he's like, all right, I'll give you this offer, and he threw it at me, almost like saying, hey, you could take the same offer by me instead of Mark.
Right.
But obviously I had Mark, and, I prefer to have Mark as a partner than Mr. Wonderful for this kind of products. I think he's got a better portfolio for it. So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, so basically at that point, all the other sharks started looking at me like, "What are you doing, man? Like take the thing, take the offer." And they started telling me this. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, I will take that offer before he takes it away and doesn't give it to you. But I wanted to see how I could get out of it. I was like, this is my only chance. Like, and part of it too, like, I was like, even if I don't get an offer,
right,
or a deal, I want to make sure that I still show up on TV, because that's great marketing, no matter what. So I know that if I am entertaining and I provide a little more back and forth with Mark, that gives me a better chance to show up on TV. So it was kind of double, it was kind of like a little balance, doubling kind of
the advertisement in there on national TV.
Yeah, so it's like, I want to get the deal and I want to get in national TV. So it's kind of balancing the two. It was kind of like, oh man.
So how has the show helped you or hindered you since you went on the show?
Oh man, it's been awesome. I mean, the day that the show went on air, I had a little ding on my phone when an order comes in.
Right.
And man, it sounded like I was in like Atlantic City.
Oh, that's
It was
great.
crazy. It was just like ding, 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 ding. I was like, whoa! So I was like, starting going like, whoa,
Great.
holy crap! I was like, well, how am I gonna fulfill all these orders now? So I went from like happiness to like a panic. I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna do? So we sold out like within, minutes.
Wow, that's
we
awesome.
were completely sold out. So, we had to go back to production, and that's another story, man. Because
Right.
My whole crew came down with COVID.
Oh man.
So we had to shut down the plant, and we held the orders, and we had to wait for them to recover, and
Well, how's that going for you guys now? Are you guys up and running as far as manufacturing?
Yeah, no, we're good now. There was just another airing of it a couple of months ago, which wiped us out again.
Oh,
but
wow.
this time we learned from the first. We're more prepared. So we went back into production, and we have product available.
That's right. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this: what's the biggest lesson that you can teach people about being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, the first thing, man, is don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to leap into it, even though you don't have all the answers or all the knowledge. I feel like a lot of people, may be too fearful of starting something because they don't know everything about it.
Right.
I think you need to be responsible. You need to feel confident and need to feel like you have a handle on things, but you don't need to know everything because you won't. I still don't. In my case, I felt very comfortable about product development. I knew I could make product and I could manufacture it, but I had no idea about financials or marketing or sales. That was very, that I didn't really have a lot of exposure to that in my companies.
Right.
So I learned along the way. I learned how the distribution system worked, brokers, retailers, stores, everything. It was something that I had to learn as I went along. So I would say, if you feel like you have something and you have passion for it, you really believe in it, go for it. And then, you'll figure it out once you're in it.
I am not only, give me a second here. I am not only a fan of the Shark Show, I am also a fan of the podcast.
No way, man. Awesome.
Yeah. So to any of you guys who have, I actually ordered on Amazon. I don't know what else people can grab them on. Let the audience know.
Yeah. So you can purchase through our website, and our website is pinoff.com. So it's PNUFF.com. And then obviously through Amazon as well. We're getting more distribution in stores now. So
Nice.
If you don't see in your store, I'll always ask, our audience to go to the manager or whoever employees work there and just tell them, hey, I don't see Pinoff here. Can you bring it in?
That's right.
Because it helps. It really does help. If enough people ask the question, the buyers start to wonder, hey, what is this Pinoff stuff? And we should bring it in.
And that's the way you do it, especially us as Latinos, to get together, push a product as yourself that you have, and go out there. Yeah, I looked at it. I looked at it on Ralph's, and I didn't find it yet. And I thought because they have different brands, because you got a lot of the big boys in there, and they kind of take up all the room, right?
Yeah, I mean, for small brands like ours, it's very tough to get out there because the big brands have big pockets, and that shelf space that you see there, they pay for it. They actually
is that how that works?
Yeah, they're paying for that location. It's like real estate. So
I never know that.
The new brands like ours, that they leave a little space, and we try to get in there, and the space is so limited that in order for me to get in there, they have to take somebody else out. So as a store, they want to make sure that they have the products that sell the most. So you have to,
You guys are like the street gangs out on the corners fighting for corners. They can sell their dope, huh?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's
it's
exactly right.
Name, right, Dr. Juan? I didn't know that.
That's the analogy right there, man.
I want your corner. I'm trying to put my puffs in here.
That's it, man. That's it.
That's great.
Cool.
Yeah, hey, Dr. Juan, we're going to end it here. I want to first of all thank you for coming on the program. I want to just let you know that me, especially being from Honduras, I am so proud of what you do, who you are, and being an entrepreneur as a Latino man. We need more people like you. I'll give you the last word on the show, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you for the invitation. It's really cool, man, that you're from Honduras too. I'm hoping to bring, the product there. We're looking at distributors in Honduras right now to see if we can bring it in, because that would be awesome. But, thank you very much. I hope, listen, you can share my information too. If anyone wants to contact me, anybody who's curious about starting a business or, whatever I've learned along the way, and I'll be more than happy to share it with anyone, man. So, thank you very much.
I'm going to contact you to be one of my sponsors. Don't worry. Pinoff sponsor American Cholo.
All right. All right, man. Let's stop.
Hey, Dr. Juan, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you for coming on, brother.
All right, man. Thank you very much for the invitation.
You got it.